Hello students, myself Mrs. Chetna Patel from LP Samani Group of School. Now this is the second session of the chapter Nelson Mandela. We have finished with the first part. Okay. Now after the speech of Nelson Mandela, we have few oral comprehension questions which we will discuss during the Zoom class. Okay. Now let us continue with the chapter there. Okay, fine. A few moments later, we all lifted our eyes in an awe as a spectacular array of South African jets, helicopters, and troop carriers rode in a perfect formation over the Union building. Okay, now here in this particular lines, Nelson Mandela has shared the spectacular view being witnessed the inauguration session. Then there was a spectacular display of the South African jets and helicopters rode in a perfect formation over them in the sky. Okay, so spectacular array means an impressive display, colorful and attractive. Like on an army day, we have a display about our army people know that is how they so the display been made, a few formations are being made and way so the similar was been witnessed there over here also. Okay, it was not only the display of a pinpoint precision means exactness, perfect, and military force, but it is a demonstration of a military's loyalty to democracy, to a new government that had been freely and fairly elected. Okay, so it was not only the display but it also had a due respect. Okay, it was an illustration of the military's loyalty to the democracy, to the new government which was being elected without any bias. It was freely and fairly been elected to voting there. Okay, now he's remembering about the past, how the things were in the past. Only moments before, the highest generals of the South African Defense Force and the police, their chests bedecked with ribbons, bedecked, decorated, okay, and the medals from the days gone by saluted me and pledged their loyalty. Okay, so he's remembering the display being made, how the things were being decorated, and how the highest general was approaching near him, saluting him, and giving the due respect which he did not found in the past there. I was not unmindful of the fact that not so many years before they would not have saluted but arrested me. Not unmindful of means aware of, conscious of. Okay, so he's remembering the things in the past, how the same people, the same military people who arrested him, and now at present the scenario have changed and they are saluting and giving them the due respect. Okay, finally a chevron of Impala jets left a smoke trail of the black, red, green, blue, and gold of a new South African flag. Okay. Now, what is the chevron? It's a pattern in the shape of a V. As I told you before, like on the military day, like how they form a different pattern there. Okay. So, your chevron means they form a pattern in a shape of a V there. Okay. So, this is how the display was being made, and that was being done with a due respect there. Not only that, but there was a smoke trial also, like how we have the smoke trial of a national flag. Similarly over here there was a smoke trial of different colors like black, red, green. All these colors display the colors of the South African flag there. Okay, I hope it's clear till here. Okay, now in the next paragraph he's talking about the two national anthem being sung. The Republic of South Africa consists of two major constituents, that is the blacks and the whites there. Okay, so the day was symbolized for me by the playing of our two national anthems and the visions of the white singing Kosi Sikali Africa, and the black singing Dice 10, the old anthem of the Republic. Although that day neither group knew the lyrics of the anthem they once despised, they would soon know the words by heart. Yes. So as there were two major constituents, so the black African had their own national anthem and the whites had their own. So it was thought necessary to show respect to the sentiments of both these communities. Playing their two national anthems symbolized their unity. Yes. So yes, at that particular moment, each one of them did not knew the words of either of them. So but he said that soon they would know the national anthem, both the national anthem by heart. Okay, now in the next paragraph, Mandela described the systems of government in his history in the first decade and the final decade of the 20th century. On the day of the inauguration, I was overwhelmed, full of emotion, with a sense of history. In the first decade of the 20th century, a few years after the bitter Anglo Boer War and before my own birth, the white skinned peoples of South Africa patched up their differences and erected a system of racial domination against the dark skinned peoples of their own land. Okay, so this is how we remembered, like after the Boer War, the hated apartheid regime was introduced in South Africa. It was based on a racial discrimination and segregation, that is, a separation, and it caused untold suffering and the most inhuman behavior with the blacks in the South Africa. Okay, so after that, the white skinned peoples of South Africa patched up their differences and erected a system of racial domination against the dark skinned peoples of their own land. The structure they created formed the basis of one of the harshest, most inhuman, that is, anti human society of the world has ever known. And now, in the last decade of the 20th century, and my own eighth decade as a man, that system had been overturned. Okay, so yes, that is what is talking about that. However, this completely changed with the end of apartheid regime and the inauguration of the Republican government led by Nelson Mandela. Okay, so though they developed the system of apartheid and it was considered to be very harsh, anti human society the world has ever known. How can we discriminate a person or separate a person on the basis of the color of the skin? Okay, so it was something inhuman there. And then he considered that it was the last decade of the 20th century and his own eighth decade as a man. That system has been overturned. Okay, let us continue further. So, before he was born, and he considered as a 20th century himself in a 8th decade, the system of apartheid for the first time in the history of South Africa was being overturned forever and replaced by one that recognized the rights and freedoms of all the peoples regardless of the color of their skin. Okay, so for the first time, whether the black or white, all were on an equal platform there, since the system of apartheid had been eradicated totally. Okay, I hope it's clear till here, students. Fine. Moving further, that day had come out through the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of my people whose sufferings and courage can never be counted or repaid. Okay, fine. Now in this particular paragraph, again he is talking, rather he's remembering about the past, that the system of apartheid has been eradicated. It was only because of the unimaginable sacrifice being done by thousands of people, his ancestor who started that. He remembers those people who have gone through those suffering. At the same time, they had courage to fight for it. Okay, so their sacrifice, okay, their sufferings cannot be counted, neither can be repaid. So he remembers those great people, as you can see in the picture here also, the great people there who have sacrificed their life. I felt that day, as I have on many other days, that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before me. That long and noble line ended and now began again with me. I was pained that I was not able to thank them and that they were not able to see what their sacrifices had wrought. Wrought means brought. Okay, so yes, this is one of your answer also, that he calls himself as a sum total. What is that sum total means? Yes, though he was able to eradicate the system of apartheid, but he says that the credit goes to all those people from the past, because they are the people who started their struggle and who have sacrificed their life. At the same time, on the day of inauguration, he regrets. And what is the reason behind that? Is that he is not able to thank them because they were not able to see what their sacrifices have brought. So he is in a deep pain that he's not able to thank them for the sacrifices what they have done in the past, and because of their sacrifices in the present, they are able to come out of all the situation there. Okay, fine. Okay, now in the next paragraph is remembering all the great leaders, as you can see in the picture over here. Okay, so these are the people who have sacrificed their life there. Fine. The policy of apartheid created a deep and a lasting wound in my country and my people. All of us will spend many years. Yes, uh, if you fall on the, if you fall or if you get hurt through by any means, that wound can be healed through by applying ointment or some of the other medicine there. Okay, but the wound which was being created by the white Africans on the black, that was really long lasting and very deep, and of course it is going to heal up. We say no, time is the best healer, but still the effect which it has on the country and the people, it is really going to take time there. Okay, fine. All of us will spend many years, and that is why Nelson Mandela says that yes, it will really take some time there to come out of that situation there. If not generations, and recovering from that profound hurt. Okay, profound, the deep hurt what they have given us. But the decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended effect, and that was that it produced the Oliver Tambos, the Walter Sisulu, the Chief Lutulius, the Yusuf Dados, the Brent Fishers, the Robert Tobaccos of our time, and these were the men of some extraordinary courage there. Okay, so what he's trying to say is that to every action there is always an opposite and equal reaction. Okay, so the death of operation always create heights of characters. Oppression and brutality of the apartheid regime, which was in practice, couldn't extinguish the flame of freedom in the blacks. Okay, oppression and atrocities produce leaders like which I have mentioned in this particular paragraph. Okay, so it is only because the operation and brutality of the white people gave rise to such great men who are the men of such extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity. Okay, let us continue there. So he considers this people, in fact, these great leaders, as a man of such extraordinary courage, wisdom, generosity, and that they are like may never be known again. Perhaps it requires such a depth of operation to create such height of character. As I have already mentioned, it is only because of the suppression of the white people gave rise to such a height of character there. Next thing is sharing about this country, that what is the real wealth of the country. South Africa, the land of diamonds, okay, but whom does he consider as a real diamond? That's the next few line there. My country is rich in minerals and gems. Gems means diamonds there that lie beneath its soil. But I have always known that its greatest wealth is its people, finer and truer than the purest diamond. Yes. So, as I told you, South Africa is a land of diamonds. Okay, the diamonds which are dug out from the deep from the earth crust. But here he gives more importance to its people. Mandela says that the real wealth of the nation are its people, the people who are finer and truer, and that is why he considers these people as the purest diamond there. Okay. Now, in the next paragraph, Nelson Mandela describes what exactly courage mean. Okay, it is from these comrades in the struggle. Comrades here means companion or a friend in the struggle that I have learned the meaning of courage. Okay, so what exactly courage means? According to Nelson Mandela, he says that he has learned the real meaning of courage from the above mentioned leader. Okay, time and again, I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. Okay, so he have heard or he have read that how time and again. Okay, so it was a time and still it was being continued till his decade, like how men and women have sacrificed their life to give up an idea of apartheid. I have seen men stand up to attacks and torture without breaking, showing a strength and resilience that defies the imagination. Now, first of all, what do you mean by resilience? The ability to deal with any kind of hardship and recover from its effect. Okay, so yes, he says that I've seen people to continue with determination, to continue their fight and to stand firm and to bear the torture without breaking, showing that strength, okay, and to recover from its effect there. Okay, so he has seen those people and he have learned from those people what exactly courage means. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear but triumph over it. Triumph means victory, yes. So, courage doesn't mean absence of fear, but how to overcome that fear. Further, he says that the brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Yes, courage, it is not that the brave men are not having fear of anything. No, even they are afraid of it. But how to overcome that fear in the real sense, it is courage there. Okay, so courage has a wider and a deeper significance for Nelson Mandela. By courage, what Mandela means that to how to overcome or rather have a victory over fear. He says that it is a mental strength that help us in becoming really brave. So lastly, I would like to say is that yes, a brave man is not He who is never afraid, but he who conquers the fear there. Okay, fine, students. Here we'll complete with the second part, and then the last part, it will be in the next session there. Thank you.